that's what I've been given, is just to make a quick uh, point on something, on truth being connected and lies being connected. Picture the tree, though. And what I'm saying is, someone's been given something a lot, and then there's somebody out there, snake, teaching something false, and he's trying to get that teaching in someone. When this false thing, whatever it is, when whether it's a false doctrine of hell, or even like Messiah came, or whatever this doctrine is, it gets in and it starts working and attacking and corrupting. I'm trying to explain it, what I see happening in words, which is just kind of difficult, because whatever you've been given, whatever I've been given up to this point, someone tries to teach a false, let's just assume it is a false teaching, and it's starting to get in us, like, uh-oh, we're believing this to some degree, or maybe we are. It causes destruction. It causes fear, worries, doubts, because the reason why it's doing this is because his truth is one. So if this one false thing is true, and this branch on this tree is truly what we believe in, it's corrupt, this corrupt thing is going to come and attack all the other branches until it wipes everything out. That's really the purpose of this video, only, pretty much, just real quick. But it's true for the evil. See, it's all one also. But when we're not given to see what's going on, the heart things, we can't really talk or see about these things at all. There's people tricking people on Messiah reigning forever. And see, I've been given the connection on why this is doing certain damage and why they're teaching it. They have to say that for hell, people to burn forever, to be true. There's no other way. That's what I've been given to see. It's protecting some other or all the other doctrines, the evil branches, see. And this is why we read people come in to steal, kill, destroy, and they take away the faith of some, see. It does damage. Because if it's false, that means one by one, since all his word is one, all his truth are connected in one, like a tree. When that false thing gets in there, it does not line up with this branch or that branch and this branch. So just believing one majorly false doctrine, false teaching, it already contradicts with all the other truth, whatever the person's been given, actual truth. It literally contradicts it. So this thing starts working inside and it starts growing. Because if we believe this one false thing from some false prophet trying to kill someone, we start really believing this one thing, all the other things are going to start in our own mind becoming something else that's also false, because it's attacking all the good and truth, because it already contradicts it instantly. And then this thing starts working and growing, because somewhere deep inside we know that if we believe this false doctrine, even if we don't understand it, it's contradicting all these other true things. See, it doesn't line up anymore, it doesn't flow, it's not one. And so that's why when someone believes in the torturing of all people, they believe that there are no good branches in there. See, they could say the right words, but we're talking about the heart. The tree is the heart, let's say. See, it's a corrupt tree. Because if that person has been believing that for 20 years and still believes it now, it's done the work a long time ago, because evil is all one also, and false lies are all one in their own way. It's a bad tree connected instead of good. another, I mean, this applies for any teaching. The reason this is what I've been given to see why it does certain things. See, the Messiah already coming, like a group of people I know, not personally, they name themselves a group, right? I started getting sucked into this because I didn't have the vision for other things. And when we don't know, and when something looks good, they offer it and connect scriptures in a damnable, snaky way. That branch started working in me, and I thought, oh yeah, I have knowledge. I know this. I'm good, you know. It started working in me too. To maybe not full blown as bad because Father's been working in me for a while, but it started doing, you know, like, oh, I know something. That has to always be battled, that other people don't. That's always a battle that needs to be corrected. But my life experience is that teaching that full preterism gives, it started corrupting. So I was experiencing the bad fruit of it. And that to me, all by itself, for me, is enough proof it's false because of the damage it does. And I'm trying to explain why certain doctrines that are false do this damage. It's because somewhere on the tree, see, there's legitimate contradictions. Therefore, if I believe this one thing, I cannot believe all the others. It's just a matter of time before they go away. See how that works? And it caused more destruction, unknown, no answer, you know. I know that's a false teaching. And so what they do is teach that people are dumped in hell forever too, not just burning forever, but the world is wicked like this forever. And people are dumped to heaven or hell forever. That should make you faint for how evil that is. It's worse than the regular hell doctrine. And I never thought I would find something worse. Somehow it's worse in its own way. And that topic, I wanted to see so people are asking questions because they're not asking our Father, and he's answering. He's the glory, the King, the God giving them information instead of freely giving with no foul intentions. But see, he's got the answers, such and such false prophet. And finally, I found a video that some say, well, if this is true, then there must not be really like a hell or something, you know. And he got angry and he protected it and made sure to say, oh no, people are either going to heaven forever or they're going to hell forever. That's his teaching. And someone's going to tell me, it's just an opinion, Ryan. You know, you seemed way too harsh when you said he's a devil and all this stuff. If I don't do that, I'm a devil because that's some wicked teaching. And people actually start believing in it, you know, and not the true faith if we're carnal, but they believe in these doctrines with, you know, in their own head. Gods they created, they are gods in their own mind, see, and we all are unless we're being changed. I had to do this video because I know that's what people experience, and I read something about it, but I think he gave me a deeper understanding on there's a reason and a process, the why something is happening, and I'm trying to explain why. The baptism is one, Messiah is one, the Father is one, his people are one, his truth is one. There's one church, one everything, you know. So therefore, when a wolf comes in and puts in a bad branch, it's going to start killing all the other ones until the whole tree is corrupt. It will not stop growing. No, it won't. It's going to grow, and it doesn't happen all at once, but it's going to continue to grow until the whole tree's bad. Because that person continued to believe in that one massive doctrine of demons. It grows because nothing of the truth that's actual truth lines up with it. It contradicts it. and we favor one teaching over whatever the other one someone hasn't, believes, it will grow because it has to be one now. Everything has to line up with that doctrine, that teaching. So that's why it's a bad tree, because it just becomes a bad tree completely. And we're being taught there is no 50-50. There's people that will believe, but this is a true teaching. There's no 50-50 tree. There's no a true believer with sincere belief heart and half of his heart. That doesn't exist. Even if our faith is weak, see, we're not 50-50. There's no such thing. We're growing, or that corruption's growing and we're dead. It's a bad dead tree. No life in it. It has branches, remember, but then they start breaking off. The whole thing just dies and crumbles eventually, but it is still a tree, a bad tree, with a bunch of things connected to it. This is what the devil does. This is how he destroys. That's the real destruction I believe our Father cares about. See, doesn't do away with any natural judgments, however he judges people is how he judges them, or nations at the end. If there was no actual destruction, there wouldn't be any judgment. See, it doesn't even make sense, but this is the primary understanding and important. I think that's it. So it's many called, few chosen, forever and forever and ever. But the wicked, they don't care about truth. But ones that are given, we have the ability to fight back and prove them wrong, because the Father gives us the wisdom to do it. Many called, few chosen is the only truth for the new covenant age. That's it. No one can contradict that. See, but that kind of thing is not brought up, so that man that teaches this and has a following, there's no one around there, that's testing and proving all things, whether good or evil. So then people believe it because they don't have any other answer, and they look to the man from their heart for answers instead of our Father. I've done it before. I've gave, and I haven't seen anyone be able to throw it down or contradict, because no one can throw our Father's word down. Scriptures can't be broken, ultimately. So when he gives us the intended meaning that he has, that the Father knows, it will expose and prove and contradict and test all things for evil or good. When someone teaches a damnable teaching like that, there's certain things that are one. That means the wedding's over. That means the resurrection happens at the same time. That means that great judgment already happened. See, so when there's other teachings that you can't separate, so you have to bring them out. People can't do it and say, I'm going to show you your contradiction now. If you say this, you must say this also. And then, see, that's why they teach it goes on forever like this, because it has to. It has to, if such and such already happened, with whatever they teach. And yet, there's prophecy that all people will know him, and this can never be truly fulfilled with that teaching, see, because it's just going to be many called, few chosen forever, since everything already happened in the past, right? When does that prophecy start coming true? What do you think his answer is? First of all, it can't get better and better, the world, with that teaching, but they still teach that it does somehow, some way. See, if the judgment came, if Messiah came, if the resurrection came, and all the things attached to it that are one, and they throw that back and says that happened already, that means it's many called, few chosen forever. That means the world will be wicked forever. That means Satan conquers. That means death conquers forever, ultimately. And since they teach most are dumped in hell forever, this is one serious death, isn't it? It's wicked. No mercy on the teachings, you know. I pray not to hate them because we can't do that, but it's wicked. It's more wicked than even I can imagine today, and I might know more. It's even more wicked 10 days from now. The more I see, the more wicked it is. And then the more I see the Father is the opposite of that also. The contrast, separating the wicked from what's good, evil and good. Hopefully people can see this, because I wouldn't want people to be tricked, because there's devils out there that teach all kinds of tricky things. And there's other things the Father gave me too. I could go on a lot about this. That's not the purpose of the video for that specific teaching. Like the natural types. And I'm really glad he gave me spiritual understanding and to see these things. The natural types cannot contradict spiritual anything. See, the vine must literally be connected in order to be alive. If the natural thing is messed up, it's messed up spiritually, period. If the laws and commandments are gone and Moses rejected, Moses spoke about Messiah. Therefore, they do away with the true Messiah. Not literally, but see, this is working in people's hearts and minds. They do away with it. So one little gem that I'm going to go on for that teaching is a literal wedding, a couple getting married, okay? When are the guests invited? One day. How many and when? All at once, not 5 years from now. That we call that something else, like anniversary. We're talking about the wedding. See? What are they going to do with that? This is why I'm angry at the wicked every day. I'm being made in the image of the Father more and more. But I don't hate them in my heart, and I slip up sometimes. I'm not going to pretend I'm perfect. But that's my intention. That's my goal. That's what I believe, you know, and I believe he will do the works. He'll get me not to hate people, but to be angry the same kind of way our Father's angry because of the evil it does and what it does to good things. That's what makes me sick. So Lot is a natural example. Lot is a righteous man. His righteous soul was tormented day and night in Sodom and Gomorrah. People can't understand, family can't understand why I bring things up, wicked things about the world and what they do. It's because I'm tormented day and night for the wickedness it does. Because it's bothering me because I care. See, the rest just don't care. Totally different heart. People are invited on a day. Look, you know, I just got this card a few days ago. You know, friend I'd known for a long time. Not a believer, you know. I always pray and hope people believe, you know, but I just don't know if it's going to happen with any certain individual, see. But there's a wedding coming up in June 6th, I think, or 9th, 6th, whatever. It's not too far out. So I figured I'd make a video and make this point on this so that other people have it in their mind. See, they have a weapon to stab and destroy some evil that people try to come in and do. Because at some point in your life, you might need it. The understanding on certain things. Well, I believe we do need it. We will need it. So that's the picture. Adam and Eve, and the wedding is on a day. They have to say this wedding happened already if the resurrection happened, if the judgment happened, if Messiah came. See how that works? Because the wedding also would have had to happen. They contradict that it's on a day because it already happened. Therefore, people are constantly going to heaven, the wedding, real twisted, or hell, away from, whatever, forever as it is now. That's not how weddings work. Sorry. Sorry, is he my friend? Not the friend, not the word Messiah uses, You're not just servants, you're my friends. That's a lot. It's not just, all of this is not about you do robotic things and I tell you what to do. That's not who our Father is with the commandments. Oh no, he's not that. He's the opposite of that. Yeah, it's strict. Yeah, there's laws and commandments, but he has no intention for doing it the way wicked people tell people how to do things. That's a gem too. Your friends. That's what he's saying. This isn't about control. I'm not a control freak. I want the good and best intentions for you and for the whole world. He's not going to be partial about it. It's sick. The chosen are chosen. He has mercy on whom he has mercy. But that is true now. That is true. But to say he's not going to have mercy on everyone is insane. It's not in Scripture. The opposite is. Have mercy on all. If it wasn't my works, if they believe saved by grace, faith, there's no works you could do to receive the Spirit, right? They could all agree with that. So then there's nothing you can do, right, religious man? Right and wrong. See, they don't actually believe that, but they do say the words. So it's getting tired. So my thoughts are, what was I saying? Yeah, see, so the intention is radically different. Their intention that teach this teaching, they're going to build the kingdoms and make it better. They're doing exactly what our Father says they can't do. He's going to destroy all that. He already did in the type, the end of the new covenant. It's going to be the final destruction of carnality and kingdoms of the beast. That was the old covenant destruction of Jerusalem. Now Jerusalem is everywhere, all over the earth. It's not a physical city right now, see? The harlot is everywhere. It's not just by some river in Rome or whatever. So they built up these kingdoms that he destroyed, see? And it's all over the earth. And I'm saying this prophecy is not just for spiritual within. A woman took leaven and hid it in darkness, right? A harlot hid this doctrine and put it in people in secret in darkness. That's what Don Preston and anyone like him does. But that prophecy is true within us right now, that corruption. And it's also true as a prophecy for the world. That's what he's given me. It has to be utterly corrupt and lumped. All the kingdoms of the beast, his prophecy needs to be fulfilled, which is specifically the religious thing, but the world's one with it. The religious powers of religion spread all over the earth, right? The corruption is lumped, ripe for judgment. And then they want to become one. That's their plan. Just like it happened already in Babylon with the Tower of Babel. We know it's going to happen again, the second fulfillment. Jerusalem back there, the destruction was a type of his coming. He did come in his judgment. See, but that was the old covenant age, that carnality also that it represents, being done away with. And now the new covenant age is not doing away with the commandments, but keeping them in our heart. That's our primary concern, not how it looks on the outside. That will take care of itself. Like the old covenant age, there's a new covenant age, and it ends also. It's going to end something like the other one because that's type. It's going to be grand scale of things, see? Instead of local Jerusalem, carnal, my literal city, which is a type of the kingdom, but see, and he destroyed Jerusalem, the temple, physical temple, carnality. He literally did that, but it's teaching these spiritual things. And that's when Messiah comes, right at that destruction, see? And the flood's another example and type. But see, specifically, though, Jerusalem, carnal Jerusalem, that say they believe my people and they worship other gods and things, because that's what his people did back there. They built calves and stuff, built their own gods. This thing spreads during the New Covenant age. It's something to do with the kingdom because it gives us a little discernment on timing and stuff. What the world needs to look like, see. I guess I did go on way longer than I thought, but I do believe these things are important because this is specifically what I didn't have answers for when I stumbled upon the wicked Don Preston, you know. I didn't have the answers. But he already got me to the point where, yeah, I started getting sucked in and like looking at what he says for answers, truly answers from the heart. But he got me to just say, I don't know. I don't know. So just show me I'm missing something. You know, I'm missing something. This is not right. And yet it looks right for the moment because I don't know anything else. And it took quite a while. That specific thing took a while, like a year. I don't know, to see it how I see it. From the time that I ask roughly, I can't remember these things perfectly, but I think the reason why it took longer is because it's really valuable and it cures all kinds of diseases. And gives me the power to know it's not true and believe it's not true and conquer the contradictions, expose those who contradict. It's what light is doing. The sun is going around exposing darkness. That's our part of our duty. Expose the lies, bring in truth. See, so that wedding was a gem he gave me even later sometime, just to add to the other things he gave me, always flowing together and adding and not contradicting, because the wedding is like that naturally, as he hadn't made it, where everyone's invited on a literal day, and then it's the wedding day, and the wedding day is over. There's no more wedding days just like that for that couple ever again. You know, forget divorce and remarrying. Okay, that's all corruption. There is no actual second wedding for that same couple, you see. They got married, it's a covenant, it's supposed to endure, what the world is in darkness. And that covenant with our Creator and Messiah also is a covenant that's supposed to endure, see. It's a type of this thing. It's something like a wedding, but not literally just like that, you know. But it's a type in something like the wedding that we read in Scripture. So there is a wedding day, and if it already happened, it's never going to happen again. Therefore, what on earth do we believe? The only thing we know with this Don Preston is you die and you go to heaven or something. And that's the best we can understand. And since it already happened, I don't know, just some some soul with no body just floats to heaven. It's wicked what they do. And then it's what? They can't even do what Christianity does. Well, they receive a body at the judgment. No, that judgment already happened. So what they're teaching is you just float up to some mystical heaven and float down to hell with a bodiless soul. That does some serious damage to the truth because it's not true. That's why. Because that thing contradicts all of the other truths. So it's a strict judgment. When someone puts that in people, they are in utter darkness and deceived and blind because they're destroying people. They're destroying many people, and they become that man. Same doctrine, same corruption. Little different than this one here, because Satan's kingdoms are divided, but it's all of the devil, one. How about another example? The Feast of Trumpets. Well, it already happened. You know, that what seems like this great, glorious thing, oh, it already happened and no one even noticed. And since I've been given the understanding that the commandments didn't go away, see, so the Feast of Trumpets, that's his special days, not the devil's Christmas and stuff. That's for the coming of the King. That's what that special day is for, the blowing of trumpets. And that didn't that. See, so if this happened already, that commandment's gone. It does not apply. It's not true right now. So they're saying it's a lie. When I read that the dead know nothing, that's not true anymore because the resurrection already happened. See, therefore I can't trust what I read, any of it, because it's what they say applies. I can't read that and go, this is true doctrine. The dead know nothing. If there's no resurrection, there's no hope, which is what I read Paul said. You see, and I could go on and on and on. There's so many thousands of things that it corrupts and destroys utterly. They would have to say now, take notice, that those scriptures are not true because it already happened. So when I read the dead know nothing, it's a lie for me right now, and it's a lie for someone else. And how do I know what applies and what doesn't apply? Well, you have to find out what the minister says. They could do however they like with it, kind of like believers can do whatever they like with true spiritual to spiritual. They do whatever they like to do the damage and destruction, carnal with carnal, lies with lies, lies upon more lies, darkness upon darkness. When I read about the serpent or Adam and Eve, sins being cut, anything, well, I don't know if that applies or is true anymore because, if such and such isn't true, what else isn't true? So our Father gave us and preserved his word that we need to know the meaning of. But the actual words are important, the scripture's important. He gave us and preserved it, but now pretty much none of it applies or is true. And these same people do away with all the commandments too. None of that is true. It's just cute history about some Jews and stuff. Just some cute history. They use it to cause destruction instead of going to the scripture and saying, are we living this? Are we living this? Are we learning something from this? From Israel building gods and calves? They just speak of it as a history book at best. On a good day, it's an accurate history book. And that's it. And that's how the world believes that scriptures are, which the believers do not. I guess I'm doing this for a reason because maybe someone really needs it. I don't know, because I needed it. Because I know this is a wicked teaching, and I'm trying to explain why it does what it does. And they'll falsely accuse, they're devils, man. They'll say, oh, you're weak, you're a loser because you can't handle spiritual things. They're as carnal as it gets. They have zero spiritual understanding. But because they have souls without bodies and just float to heaven, they think they're spiritual. It's sick. And that's what started getting in me, and he got it out. And if he didn't, I would have fell, man. And I believe it, know it. So it's like, man, how do I know if he's going to pick me back up? So see, we just start to rely on him more and more and start believing the promise that he'll endure to the end. What he started, he'll finish. Start believing that. Well, you ask him that, and we still have like this proper fear, right? But we really begin to believe, look, if I fall, make sure to pick me up. People don't pray that. What if you do? Well, I think he'll keep his word, won't he? Yes, I believe he will keep his word if that's what you're praying from the heart. It's like just for believers though, right now, because See, somebody else wouldn't be able to pray that. They just can't. They don't even think of that because he blinded them. They're teaching lies and destruction. They don't pray about keeping me to the end or till Messiah comes, the end. Um, they don't. They don't pray for truth. That's what still blows my mind every day is these people go to the false prophets and they ask them questions for sincere answers. They're looking and then they're being killed. So you can't point fingers and blame all the devil's doing all this, and the Father's ultimately doing it through the devil. But Messiah walked around and he says he has pity for the people. It's because he knows that the Father is sovereign and he's doing this all for a purpose. And he knows that he can't do anything about the ones that are being destroyed. Because he ultimately doesn't. The Father gives him the ones to choose. It's the Father's doing everything. Messiah chooses, but Father gives him. He said so. And he prays for them, or else Satan would sift them like wheat, like Peter. See, so we go through that experience of betraying Messiah. It's not about a rooster crowing, and it's that spiritual thing that Peter did. He denied Messiah. That means we're going to do that. Or we've already done it, see, with our own way and experience. Ashamed of him, denied him, but he prays for Peter, And then Peter sees how weak he is, that I will never reject you. I will never do this to you. And all the other disciples, yes, we'll die with you. You're going to go. They had the wrong spirit of dying with him, going to war, dying for him, for like battle, carnal, instead of dying with him. They didn't have the understanding, but they were given it though. Yeah, it's amazing. So, I don't teach to deny Messiah. It's the last thing I would ever say, but I believe every true believer has that problem, hiccup at some point, or more than once, But he prays for them, and Satan would sift them like wheat otherwise. I would have been sifted like wheat, so it's just showing me that I can't do anything, man. You really start believing of myself, I can do nothing. And if the Father wants to use the devil to blind someone for some sin and judgment, he's going to do it. And you can't do anything about it. But you think right now, no, what I see, and I'll do it alone. I'll do it on my own, and I could do it, and I'll never be blinded. And that's not true. The people that start believing this, or that's what they've believed, they get blinded and sifted like wheat. They don't know him. The Father's not in them. And I think that's it for this one. I realize these are hard words, because that's why I say there's people out there that teach no free will or whatever, but I don't really believe that some of these false teachers actually believe that. Because if you were to expose their lies and their doctrines that they also have, they react and do certain things. Scriptures teach and say carnal people do. And they will do that. And how come they could not do that? Because they got blinded. There's a great last day in one of our Father's holy days, set apart days. There's the great last day. That has a purpose, because there's a day, the great last day. I think it's day 8. Is it day 8 of the month, or it's like right after the 7 one of the other ones. And then there's the great last day, and 8 is the new creation, see? 8 circumcised, on day 8 circumcised, and 8 others on Noah, or 8 during Noah's flood total, you know? They're saying this great last day already happened. So what is the period, what is the time and period and age of the kingdom of heaven and new covenant age? There is no age like that. But see, they can't see these things. They're contradicting liars, and they can't see the contradictions and evil. They'll keep supporting it. So I failed to make this a video short. I just couldn't resist not going on about on giving an example on what this does, you know, deeper, but a specific teaching out there. Use it as an example of how it corrupts. Feast of Trumpets, the last great day, or one of the special days. So therefore, this doesn't apply to any believers in Messiah right now. See the problem? There's believers in the true Messiah, Yeshua, and the King of Kings, their master, their Messiah. See, there's believers in Messiah, right? Everyone would agree. The church world, yeah, we believe in our Messiah, you know. But but for believers, there is no great last day. There's no wedding. There's no Feast of Trumpets. You know, there's that great last day in somewhere in the first 5 books there, the law. They're saying that doesn't apply for believers because this is already passed. You see how that's not even remotely possible. They won't admit that it's not possible, though. I've seen it already. People are still teaching the same things. Still teaching the same things. Yeah, it's insane. Every man's a liar. Only our Father, you know, every man be a liar, Father true. I think I said it already, but maybe not. So this wedding already happened, right? Let's just pretend. Therefore, people are constantly being invited to the wedding, but there's no actual wedding day because the wedding day already happened, see? 2,000 years ago, like they teach. They don't understand what this means to be invited. This applies for every generation. Compel them to come in, invite them. It's true for all his believers. True 500 years ago. True 1,000 years ago. True from the Messiah's time forward, the kingdom of heaven. Invite them to the wedding. Just because it doesn't happen in their lifetime, the people that passed away already, that has nothing to do with truth. Invite them to the wedding because there's a resurrection and a great last day and the wedding day. So that all his truth applies for us right now, and they're all true right now. All the Old Testament scripture is true right now. The dead know nothing. That's for us right now, you know. Those scriptures are true. It's insane to say it was true for believers back then and Israelites, but now it's not true for the spiritual Jerusalem, huh? Now the wedding, the last great day, the resurrection, the coming of Messiah, none of that's true for a believer. You just float up with your bodiless soul to heaven or hell. Wicked man, teaching that people burn forever and the number added to hell goes on forever. but they're going to smile and wave and do good works, right? And show people how good they are. Do some giving and show everyone how much they give. But inside they hate the Father and they hate his people, and they're full of bitter disgust, carnal wrath, anger, and lust, secret sins in the dark, drugs, orgies, sex with a bunch of women. They do all these things secretly because they're not given power to overcome sin. Lying, cheating, stealing, robbing temples, doing all these things. People, they're wicked. But he's a good man, and everybody that follows him believes he's good. Amazing, isn't it? Yeah, he's a good man. Look what he's doing. He's teaching people and helping people. He's so good. And he gives money and whatever he does, you know. He's got a lot of books to give you because he loves you so much. He wants you to have truth. He doesn't want to take your money. He just wants you to have truth so bad. They'll never own up to it. That's the crazy, sad thing. Never. Don Preston will never admit his massive sins and hatred in his heart and love for money and lust and love for the world. Never. Unless the Father grants him repentance. See, you can expose it, and hopefully it's for a few people that see it, that aren't totally corrupt, you know, totally sifted like wheat. Well, everyone's sifted like wheat, but see, that's specifically for believers, that they don't go back into destruction. But for the people that are hardened, they'll continue to keep doing what they're doing. Yeah, it's rough. I think that's it. I'll probably leave the description on there since I'm okay with that. You know, I failed to do a short video again, but I did want to do that. I wanted to, and I just kept going, couldn't stop. Too important. Some of these, you know, these things are important. And the biggest thing, one of the is that belief in their heart and teaching that someone is spiritual because of what doctrine they say is true. It has nothing to do with being spiritual. They aren't seeing the spiritual understanding. It's crazy. They say they're spiritual, and I've seen it. What, am I too spiritual for you? They're not like the Messiah or the believers that are spiritual to carnal people. They're false. They're spiritual because you go straight to heaven with your immortal soul, another damnable lie and doctrine they teach, because they don't want to die, right? Father says, you shall die in the day you eat of it. And serpent says, you will not die. That's why they teach immortal souls, because spiritually in their heart, they don't want to die to that old man. And they don't want to die, literally. So they're just immortal souls that go wherever they say they go. They don't even believe what they say either, but this is what they teach. Masquerade as angels of light, and they're devils, and they're darkness and wicked. It's sick, man. Got to deal with that every day, knowing that that exists, and got to deal with the war within every day. All right, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. But it's disgusting. So we need to see, and then when he gives us more and more to see, it's more and more disgusting what the world does. And our own selves, you start to loathe yourself too, because you're seeing that that's us too, and it needs to be destroyed. See, we believe that about ourselves and the world, not that we're exempt and we're righteous and perfect and We go to a church and teach some doctrine, therefore we're spiritual, because of the immortal soul floating up to heaven, because of that teaching. They literally say that's why they're spiritual. I've seen it. We're too spiritual for you. Are we too spiritual for you because we teach immortal souls, people burning in hell forever, and the number added to hell never ends either, and you have an immortal soul that goes to those two places? Are we too spiritual for you? Can you see the foolishness? This is some dark stuff. Father's going to get to see that he made this world foolishness, the wisdom of it. And the reason why it bothers me is because I've been given to care, and people don't care. Carnal man can't care about anyone, really. It can't. It's just selfish. When someone sees this genuine care, it's real strange for them. They don't want to believe it. They ask you a question and you answer as if you care. Even if you say the right words, they could see something that you care. And they don't want to believe that happens. So the people that do that, a lot of times they'll attack you. It's like screwed if you do, screwed if you don't. That's why they didn't like John the Baptist on a strict diet, not eating and drinking, and Messiah not on this strict diet, eating and drinking occasionally, and they didn't accept him either. So this is what it's like. It's like they want to see that and believe there's someone, and then they attack the people that care, man. It's real rough. I could see that war, but the carnal man's not winning that war. A little bit in there somewhere that cares. Instead, they attack and kill. They don't want to see anything real after all. I've seen strange things. People get sad, get real quiet, and I'm not even talking necessarily any scriptural truth, just regular, like worldly conversation. Sometimes every now and then I've seen it. I answer them looking at them, and there's like a blank stare and quiet. And like, what did I say? I drive away thinking like, what did I say? It's not really anything I said at that moment. I didn't really say anything that hasn't been said before. It's so backwards. I got asked if I like the job I'm doing, like stopped at a Dutch Bros to get an order. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's got its pluses and minuses like everything. But overall, it's fine. It's what I've been given. I said, yeah, it's fine, but I said the patience I thought I had didn't exist. And I think I said it needs to be worked on. And the woman says, kind of like not knowing what to say for a second, and then like, oh yeah, 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 we're all learning and growing. Yeah. And kind of just turns away. I'm like, that was the wrong response. See what happened just there? It's like I saw something that might have been good, and then I'm like, no, no, she just excused herself from learning and growing. Because when someone does that, what they're saying is nobody's learning and growing. They're not learning and growing. They say that to project the beastly image, to make me think and to make me believe that, yeah, in general, everyone's learning and growing. See? But I know this is hard to put on a video because this is experience and seeing things. I don't think people, I don't know that people will see that unless they really understand and go through the same things. The believers, but anybody else wouldn't, of course. Not truly the way it needs to be. And it happened again at another Dutch Bros, a guy just asking me, and he's like, you like your truck or whatever? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I mean, it does the job, and started giving more detail, and he did the same thing. just sort of staring real quiet, like, because I answered the question, but I don't think he was like in detail. I gave him quite a bit, just carnal things. He asked me a question, and I went on about it for a little bit, and then it was like stone cold silence. It's like they've been spotted. They don't actually want to, they only ask that question to make themselves look good. So when you really answer it, you defeated them, even though that's not my intention. You defeated them. You defeated what they're trying to do. If someone actually cares and answers my question, this is a problem for a carnal man. I don't know if anybody's going to see this through a video, but these are the things that he gives me to see and discern. I'm not confused about this. I'm figuring out why people do what they do. He's giving me the answers. It's something to do with like when someone gives you something and you give them back, it's like a disappointment because they got repaid. Like they had a false intention for giving. See, I've seen it. It's not because they want to give and don't want to be repaid. They're only pretending they don't want to be repaid. So when you do that, they get angry because they got repaid, and then in their mind, you don't really believe them that's trying to project the image. You don't really believe that beastly image. They get mad after someone gives them back. Yeah, it's strange, man. That's what's going on. The heart's messed up. You're starting to see and discern the hearts of men. And I've had a lot more things like that. I'm just giving a couple examples. Strange things. It's proving what the scriptures are teaching, what he's giving me the meaning on the scriptures, his word. It's proving it true. It's proving that everything everyone does all the time is fakery and to project the image only. And if that's exposed in any way, whether someone cares or there's that light shining, you don't even have to say anything special. It spotted the beast. You see this? It spotted the image it's projecting. It thinks and sees that the other person sees who and what they are. They're seeing the person look at right through their soul, their eyes, Something about the carnal man knows, but it doesn't really understand that a true believer, spiritual understanding, keeping the commandments, not false believers. A true light comes by and a part of them knows they've been spotted, telling you the truth, exposing the outward thing that have a nice day, I give you this gift or whatever, and I ask you how you're doing and all that is all for show. All of it. They're evil. They have horrible intentions in their heart. They don't care. So when they think or believe they've been spotted, they get quiet and they don't know what to do. When someone answers and cares about their question that they don't care about, they only ask to continue the image. You like your truck, how you doing, all this stuff, and you answer as if like you care, have passion about it. They get angry. And I'm telling you why they get angry. The beast has been spotted. Oh yeah, our Father's word is true. All of it. All the good they do is to be seen by men. And that's all I got on this one. Those words are true. They will never own it up. They will never believe it, unless they're shown mercy also. They're not coughing it up. They won't do it. They're going to protect that image even if the Father trips them up and they do some real obvious foolish thing. and say, who seeks to kill you? When that's all that the person was trying to do to Messiah, the Pharisees. They they just become worse and worse and more foolish, and they're exposed as fools. All right, peace, take care, seek truth.